So look who we have today. It's the Everett Elks. They're back. They found their franchise and they're ready to win a Stanley Cup here. However, they're full of 0 overall players once again. The entire forward core, 0 overalls. The entire defensive core, 0 overalls. And the goaltending, well, that's 0 overalls. And Ricky Lafleur, of course, if you know, you know. One of the greatest of all time. A 0 overall in absolutely every single attribute category except stick high and stick low. This guy is amazing stick side. Now we're going to do something that we've never done before. Not only are we going to try to win this team a Stanley Cup, but that's actually not the main goal for today's video. The Everett Elks are going to be the first team ever to go 82-0. So how are the Everett Elks going to go 82-0? Well, I'm going to spin this wheel 20 times to give us 20 different NHL players. The first team that we're going to be selected from is going to be the Colorado Avalanche. So the question we have, do we take Nathan MacKinnon or do we take Cale Makar? So for our very first selection, of course, it has to be incredibly difficult to figure out who we're going to be going with. Is it Cale Makar or is it Nathan MacKinnon? You really can't go wrong with either of these guys. 96 overall Nathan MacKinnon, one of the best forwards in the NHL. And then when it comes to Cale Makar, 95 overall, the best defenseman in the NHL. I think we go with Cale Makar here. I mean, Nathan MacKinnon would be incredible as well. There really isn't a mistake when it comes to this selection, but I just feel when we get close to those final simulations with a chance of going 82-0, we need an elite defenseman like Cale Makar, and that would make the difference. Granted, a 96 overall forward such as Nathan MacKinnon would also make the difference. We're just going with Cale Makar because I would love a 95 overall defenseman. Nothing against Nathan MacKinnon. It really doesn't matter who we select here. So it's very clear that we're not going to be able to go 82-0 with just Cale Makar on this team. So we're going to keep on spinning this wheel right here until we have a complete team. Then we're going to start simulating seasons. The next team we're going to be selecting from is going to be the Rangers. So are we taking Artemi Panarin or are we going to be taking Adam Fox? Now, once again, similar to that last selection, who do we go with here? There's two amazing players that we can select from. Artemi Panarin would be great for the offense, but of course, Adam Fox would be great for the defense here. A 93 and a 95 to begin our defensive core. That would be amazing. But you know what? We passed up on Nathan MacKinnon with the last selection. So with this one, we're going with Artemi Panarin. So Artemi Panarin's been brought to the team. Cale Makar's been brought to the team. We're already building a super team right now. However, when you land on a team like the Montreal Canadiens, that's not really going to be helping you too much. So we have two players that we can really select from here. Nick Suzuki or Michael Matheson. Michael Matheson, I would love to have him on this team, especially playing some third pairing minutes for us. However, Nick Suzuki would be great for us as well. Two-way forward, 88 overall. You've got some X factors. The real question with Michael Matheson is, do I want an offensive defenseman on our third pairing? I mean, it's definitely not going to hurt the team, so Michael Matheson, you're going to be the guy we select here. So let's see how well that Michael Matheson selection ages for us. I think it's going to actually backfire on us in the long run. The Vegas Golden Knights are going to be the next team we're selecting from. I think that means we're going to be bringing Jack Eichel to the team. Now, we have a ton of great options here. Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Alex Pietrangelo, Shea Theodore. But out of all these options right here, you know who I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with Mark Stone, Mr. February himself. If you know, you know. So Mark Stone's been brought to the team here. He's going to be a good two-way forward for us. The reason I passed upon a guy like Jack Eichel is I feel like we can get some better playmakers down the road. The next team we're going to be selecting from is going to be the St. Louis Blues, and I think we're going to be bringing another two-way forward to the team. Now, while I head over to the St. Louis Blues, are you part of the 69% people that aren't subbed to the channel? If you are, you should change that right now because we're trying to hit 70K by the end of the month. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And Robert Thomas, welcome to the team. So now that we've brought Robert Thomas to the team, we're guaranteed to go 82-0, but I wouldn't mind bringing some more players to the team. And the next team we're going to be selecting from is the Seattle Kraken, and I think we're going to be bringing a former Blue onto the team. Because Seattle, although the team's not looking great right now, they do have one fantastic defenseman, and he goes by the name of Vince Dunn, so that's going to be the newest addition to the Everett Elks. So we potentially have the guy that's going to be playing alongside Cale Makar. But you know what? I would love to bring another elite player to the team. We're off to the Vancouver Canucks. I take that back. Vince Dunn, you're going to be moving down to the second pairing because we're going to have Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar together. Now that top pairing is definitely going to be elite here. Quinn Hughes and Cale Makar, zero weaknesses whatsoever. So let's keep on spinning the wheel here. And now that I'm thinking about it, should have I taken Thatcher Demko? But you know what? We're landing on the Vancouver Canucks once again. Thatcher Demko, welcome to the team. Yeah, like I was starting to think maybe I should have selected Thatcher Demko. He might have been a bit more valuable. But you know what? We're getting Thatcher Demko and we're getting Quinn Hughes. So I'll take it. So we got two of the best from the Vancouver Canucks and I can definitely live with that. The next team we're off to is the Edmonton Oilers. I don't even need to say his name. We all know who's joined the team. The second best player in the league, only behind Robert Thomas, is about to join the Everett Elks. And who am I talking about? Well, of course, it's Connor McDavid, the second best player on this team. So we've got Connor McDavid. Now we just have to get him a line partner, and it's got to be Austin Matthews. But you know what? I can live with Nikita Kucherov. But you know what? I'm just completely yapping. Nikita Kucherov, you're actually not going to be joining this team here because we got our new starting goaltender. That's going to be Vasilevsky. So we're going to have Vasilevsky and Thatcher Demko. I think we're going to be an okay team. So the goaltending tandem is set. We got a majority of the defensemen. We just got to start filling out that forward core. The Vancouver Canucks yet again. How do we get Vancouver 3 times? That makes no sense. At this point, we're just seeing if the Vancouver Canucks can go 82-0. Elias Pettersson, welcome to the team at 93 overall. If we get JT Miller, then we've got every 90 overall player on this team. So if we land on Vancouver one more time, I already know who we're bringing to the team. No, but real talk, that's actually beyond ridiculous. There's 32 different teams on this wheel, and once again, we're getting a familiar one, the Edmonton Oilers. Leon Draisaitl, don't mind if I do. No, but in all seriousness, there is 32 different teams on this wheel, and the fact that we're getting repeats as much as we are, I'm not going to complain about though, because I mean, we're getting 94 overall Leon Draisaitl, but I'd like to see a bit more variety. So don't give me Vancouver, don't give me Edmonton, give me somebody we haven't seen yet. The Winnipeg Jets, if we got this team a bit earlier, we would have taken Connor Hellebuyck, but you know what? We already got our goaltending tandem. We might be bringing a defenseman, and it might be Josh Morrissey. Like, if we add Josh Morrissey to the team here, then we're almost set defensively, but you know what? Do we really need another offensive defenseman here? I think I'd rather just take Kyle Connor the sniper, and we're going to pass up on Josh Morrissey here. Now we're going to see how well that selection ages. Should have I gone with Josh Morrissey there and add another offensive defenseman to the team? The Vegas Golden Knights. I don't even know what to say anymore. Why do we keep getting repeats? So what I probably should have done is just made it so you only can land on each team once, but you know what? That's no fun. Alex Pietrangelo, a former St. Louis legend, you're joining the Everett Elks here. So we're one defenseman away from completing our defensive core, but we still need to add a ton of forwards. We're going to be landing on the Carolina Hurricanes. Sebastian Aho, you'd be a great selection for our team. Like 99% of the time, the second we land on a team, I already know who we're going to be adding, and when it comes to this selection, Sebastian Aho, you're the guy for us. We're 4 forwards away and 1 defenseman from completing this team. I gotta land on another super team, and that super team is gonna be the Florida Panthers, and they're gonna be giving me a superstar. So not too much thought has to go into this selection right here. From the Florida Panthers, Matthew Tkachuk, you're gonna be joining the team. The first power forward we're gonna be seeing today. Well, I think you're the first power forward. I actually couldn't tell you. So let's keep on spinning this wheel. We just need to do it a few more times here. The Detroit Red Wings, you're not necessarily gonna be helping us too much. I mean, I'll take the Detroit Red Wings over the Florida Panthers any day of the week, but you know what? An 89 overall Patrick Kane, it definitely could have been worse. If we land on the San Jose Sharks, we might be screwed and not able to win a Stanley Cup. We're headed back over to the St. Louis Blues. There's a couple options we can go with. Do I want to go with Torrey Krug to round the defense, or do I just go with a guy like Buchnevich? I mean, Buchnevich is definitely our best option here, but do we really need another playmaker on the team? Not really, but I'm still going to add him. So we need one more forward and we need one more defenseman, and this team will be complete here. Do not give me the Chicago Blackhawks. I can live with the Carolina Hurricanes, and I can live with Jake Getzel. Now, I was saying we were going to bring Jake Getzel to the team, but I'm actually lying. We're going to bring Jacob Slavin, and then we're going to pray we land on the Colorado Avalanche again, land on the Tampa Bay Lightning, just land on an elite team, Dallas Stars, New York Rangers, land on any of those, and then we'll be able to bring a 90 overall forward to the team. But you know what? We're not guaranteed to bring an 88 overall defenseman. Basically, the reason for that selection is I can live with an 81 overall on our 4th line. We're getting the Islanders. Now I'm kind of wishing that we didn't select Jacob Slavin there. So the reason I went with Jacob Slavin is I want to make sure that every defensive pairing was full of elite defensemen. I didn't want to take Jake Getzel, and then with our very next spin, we land on the San Jose Sharks, and I had to take a guy like Mario Ferraro. No disrespect to Mario Ferraro, but I mean, I'd rather have an 88 overall defenseman than an 82. But you know what? The New York Islanders aren't the worst selection here, because Matt Barzal, he's going to be joining the team at 89 overall. I mean, that's definitely the best way we could round this out. So through all of these selections for the Everett Elks here, we're only $74 million over the salary cap. So not too bad. So I think it's safe to say we have a pretty good team here. Connor McDavid, Artemi Panarin, Matthew Tkachuk, Patrick Kane, Leon Draisaitl, Elias Pettersson, Kyle Connor, Sebastian Aho, Mark Stone, Matt Barzal, Robert Thomas, and Buchnevich. When it comes to the defense, Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, Alex Pietrangelo, Vince Dunn, Jacob Slavin, Michael Matheson, and to cap it all off, our goaltenders Vasilevsky and Demko. This team's definitely going to be winning a lot of games. Now you might be thinking, well, stick on the ice. It's impossible to go 82-0. Eventually your team is going to lose one game. Now that is true, however, there are a couple changes in the league. Now that Connor McDavid's on the Everett Elks, he is no longer on the Edmonton Oilers. So they lost Connor McDavid and they lost Leon Draisaitl, so this team is not nearly as good as they used to be. On top of that, every season that we don't go 82-0, I'm going to be removing the best player on every single NHL team. So I'm going to keep on removing players until the Everett Elks eventually go 82-0. It might take 5 seasons, it might take 10, it might take 30. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. Eventually the Everett Elks are going to have have an 82-0 record. So with that being said, let's simulate through season number 1 here, and let's see if this team could win a Stanley Cup. Because just because we have the best players in the entire league on our team doesn't mean anything. Eventually, we're probably going to choke in the postseason. So with season number 1 in the books here, of course, the Everett Elks are first in the entire league. But I do want to point out, with all the amazing superstars we had, the Boston Bruins actually had a better season last year. We didn't even break their win record. This Everett Elks team, full of NHL All-Stars, elite players, the best of the best, is only finishing with 63 wins. I also want to point out, our offense, yeah, was above 4 goals per game, while our defense, it was barely the best in the entire league. We were actually tied with the Carolina Hurricanes when it came to defense. So our team right here wasn't significantly better from every other team in the league. Yeah, we won a majority of our games, and yeah, we were first in the entire league, but when you compare our defense to some of the other defenses in the league, we didn't stand alone. There was a lot of teams competing with us. So just from looking at that, you can tell it doesn't matter how good our team looks, we got to make sure that every other team in the league is worse. Connor McDavid, 95 points. Panarin's picking up 90. Patrick Kane, 87. Draisaitl, 72. We're going to have elite scoring depth. Not just one player is going to be carrying the way here. When it comes to the goaltending, Vasilevsky, he was great. But in saying that, a 903 is certainly not good enough to go 82-0. I need you posting a 920. Demko, the same for you. I mean, your numbers weren't as bad. You had a 911 and a 248. But Vasilevsky, you got to be better. Also, I'm not going to go through every single postseason matchup because that would just drag this video out. So I'm going to go ahead and simulate the postseason and we'll see what happens. Now, the Everett Elks might be winning the Stanley Cup, but clearly it was not easy for us. The Predators took us to 7 games. The LA Kings took us to 7 games. The Dallas Stars were a breeze. We took them out in 5 games. But even Boston put up a slight fight. They took us to 6 games. Even though we have all these elite players, we are definitely not a step above the rest here. Any team can compete with us on any given night. When it comes to the postseason stats, of course, Connor McDavid's going to lead the way. But just look at the plus minuses of this team. We should be better than this. Kyle Connor, Mark Stone, Sebastian, oh my god, how are you guys this bad? Minus 13. Bro, how were you minus 13? That doesn't even make any sense. Meanwhile, the goaltending numbers, Vasilevsky, you had an 891. That's all I need to say. An 891 and a 317. What were you doing out there? So when it comes to removing players, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to spin this wheel, and it looks like it's going to be landing on the Arizona Coyotes. So if the highest overall on the Arizona Coyotes is a forward, I'm going to be removing the best forward on every NHL team. If the best player left on the Arizona Coyotes is a defenseman, I'm going to be removing the best defenseman on every NHL team, and if it's a goalie, I'll remove all the best goalies. Now, of course, we all know Clayton Keller is the best player on the Arizona Coyotes, so that means I'm going to be removing the best forward from all of these NHL teams. Before I do that, though, Clayton Keller, I'm going to bring you onto the Everett Elks. So with the addition of Clayton Keller, that means Buchnevich is going to be pushed to the bench here. And right now, Robert Thomas is the only guy without a superstar X factor, and that is so incredibly disrespectful. In NHL 25, Robert Thomas better have a superstar X factor. He is of the same quality as every other player on this list. Connor McDavid, Robert Thomas, same difference. They're basically the exact same player. Okay, that's incredible glazing right there, but I still stand on the point that Robert Thomas deserves a superstar X factor. Yeah, he's not as good as McDavid. He's better than McDavid, but that's neither here nor there. Give Robert Thomas the respect he deserves, and also give the Everett Elks another Stanley Cup here. Now, I got some great news. Not only are the Everett Elks first in the entire league, but we broke the win record, a 68-9-5 record. However, our offense was actually worse this season, below 4 goals per game. Not really too sure how that works, considering every other team we're playing got worse. But the one thing I can emphasize, our defense, 2.18 goals allowed per game. That's certainly better than what it was last season. Like, comparing it to the rest of the league here, nobody was even close to us. But you know what? We still weren't an 82-0 team, so we got to keep on making this team better here. McDavid was great, Draisaitl was great, Panarin was great. Everyone on this team was great, and the goaltending numbers, those are going to look spectacular. Andre Vasilevsky, a 49-6-5 record, 5 shots, a 920 and 217. And then look at Thatcher Demko's numbers, a 19-3 record. He was almost perfect. A 917 to 210. Keep up your end of the bargain. It's only a matter of time before we're 82-0. To finish off this season, though, I'm happy to say the Everett Elks aren't going to choke in the postseason. They're going to take home the Stanley Cup in a 5-game series against the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, last time we were in the postseason, Andre Vasilevsky had horrible numbers, so I'm curious to what his numbers look like this time around. His numbers a lot better than what they were last season, a 921 to 215. That's what I like to see. However, there is one thing that would be even better, going 82-0. But there's one thing that I haven't mentioned yet. We're going to be landing on the Tampa Bay Lightning. I believe Victor Hedman's the last player remaining, so that means we're going to be removing every team's best defenseman. But as I was saying, the real goal actually isn't 82-0. It's 82-0 and 16-0 16-0 in the postseason. If we go 16-1 in the playoffs, then that 82-0 season doesn't count. We have to be perfect in the regular season and perfect in the playoffs. So it looks like the best player remaining on the Tampa Bay Lightning is going to be Victor Hedman. So not only is he going to be joining the team here, but now every single team is going to be losing their best defenseman. So not only are the Everett Elks getting a better defensive core here, but we're going to be scoring more goals because every team's defense just got worse. So now that Victor Hedman's on the team, the defense is looking better than I ever thought it would look. Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, Alex Pietrangelo, Victor Hedman, Jacob Slavin, Vince Dunn. Actually, I think we're going to do this. I think I'd rather have Quinn Hughes on the second pairing, then we spread out the offense a little bit. Two offensive defensemen on the top pairing might not be the best decision in the world, but hey, if we can spread out the offense like this, we're going to be all right. So with the entire league's defense looking worse because they all removed their best defenseman, are we going to be able to go 82-0 here? I don't think we will be. I think we're still a couple players away. I think I'm also going to make the executive decision that I can't remove teams starting goaltenders because that would make this video way too easy. We would have already gone 82-0. But you know what? It's a great start to the season. We're 11-0. So through 20 games, this team was looking great, but it's finally happened. We're losing some games here. We're going to lose to the Vancouver Canucks and we're going to lose to the Boston Bruins, but a 21-2 record to start the season, that's definitely a good sign for what's to come. Yeah, so it's safe to say I got a bit too confident with the Everett Elks after that start. A 65-14-3 record, worse than last season, even though every team in the league got worse. Offense was better, but the defense took a step back. Not really too sure how that works. Like, we literally made every team in the league worse, and somehow we performed worse. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Our team got better, the rest of the teams got worse, therefore we do worse. Yeah, we're gonna have our first 100-point player though. That's gonna be our Tony Panarin. McDavid 97 here, Draisaitl 80, Cale Makar is gonna be picking up 76. When it comes to the goaltending numbers, both of these guys were abysmal this season. I don't care about the goals against, I don't care about the win records. All I care about is save percentage, a 906 and a 906. You guys are absolute disgraces. We have the perfect team in front of you, and you're posting 906s. Doesn't make any sense to me. Everett Elks, Stanley Cup champions. They went 16-3 in the postseason. I don't care about that. Vasilevsky, I need to know what your save percentage was. If I see a 906, I'm going to lose my mind. A 925 and a goals against of exactly 2. Okay, like, these are numbers I want during the regular season. So I think I got too comfortable with how this team was looking. The way we started gave me way too much hope, but we did not close out the season strong. The Dallas Stars going to be the next team we're selecting from. I believe the highest overall forward left on this team is probably going to be either Rupe Hintz or Joe Pavelski. So Jason Robertson's been removed, Miro Heiskanen has been removed, and the best non-goaltender left on the Dallas Stars, that's going to be Rupe Hintz. So he's going to be joining the Everett Elks here, and him alongside all the best forwards remaining from every other team are going to be removed. So Rupe Hintz is going to be joining the Everett Elks here, and he's going to be playing on the 4th line alongside Robert Thomas and Clayton Keller. Technically, we could have Matt Barzal playing center, and then we would have every single player on our forward core with a superstar X factor, but Robert Thomas is better, and I want him on this team because we need him in order to go 82-0. So with every team losing the best forward they had remaining, we should be able to score more goals this season as every team's defense will be worse, and our defense should be better as every team's offense is going to be worse as well. So we're getting closer and closer every single season now. A 70-10-2 record. We are 12 games away from having a perfect season of 82-0. We're almost scoring 5 goals per game, 4.59 to be exact. Meanwhile, the defense almost below 2 goals a game. There's not really too much more I can ask for when it comes to this team. Like, offensively, we're absolutely unstoppable. Defensively, we're absolutely unstoppable. Like, look at these save percentages, a 920 and a 929. Like, we're so incredibly close. We just need to be a bit better, and then we're going to be winning every game and then going 16-0 in the postseason. Because although we did win another Stanley Cup here, we weren't perfect in the postseason. We went 16-5. Clearly, that's not good enough. Like, everyone on this team performed, but you know what? There's still some good teams left in the NHL. They got some great goaltenders. Okay, Vasilevsky, you got pulled in 1 game. You actually got pulled in 2 games here. 3 games. Thatcher Demko had to play in 3 games because you kept getting pulled. If we're going to go 16-0 in the postseason, you have to be perfect. You can't be getting pulled in 3 games. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel of NHL teams. Who are we going to be landing on next? It looks like it's going to be the New York Rangers. We've removed a handful of players from this team already, so I actually couldn't tell you who's the highest overall player left that's not a goaltender. So who's really left on the New York Rangers? They've lost Artemi Panarin. They lost Mika Zibanejad. They've already lost Adam Fox. It looks like the next player that they're going to be losing is Chris Kreider. He's going to be joining the Everett Elks here, but he's actually not even going to be playing for this team. He's not high enough overall. He's only an 87. That's not going to help us, but it's going to make the rest of the teams in the league worse. So there's going to be 0 changes to the team, but the one thing I'm thinking about doing is moving Leon Draisaitl up to this first line, and then Elias Pettersson, Artemi Panarin, and Patrick Kane are going to hold it down the second. That's just going to give us a bit more scoring on our top line, and then Panarin, Pettersson, and Patrick Kane, I feel like that's going to be really good for the second line. Also say that 3 times fast. Panarin, Pedersen, Patrick Kane. I mean, it's actually not that difficult, but you get the point here. The defensive pairings, they're saying the exact same. And the goaltending, we have our 2 goaltenders. That's never changing. Okay, we lost the 3rd game of the season. So yeah, this season's already a wash. So my entire perspective has completely changed. First in the entire league, a 64-15-3 record, but I do not care about this. The scoring numbers, I do not care about this whatsoever. Connor McDavid 100 points. Yeah, the scoring looks great on this team. None of this matters though, and you know why none of this matters? Vasilevsky's save percentage, this doesn't matter. We didn't win the Stanley Cup. This team right here did not win the Stanley Cup. The Dallas Stars beat us in a 7-game series and they went on to win the Stanley Cup. So if there is a team that can beat us in a 7-game series, then we can definitely lose games during the regular season. So with that being said, every starting goaltender is now about to be removed, and let's see what the Everett Elks can do. Like, if I'm being completely honest, as long as every team has a good starting goaltender, they're going to be able to find a way to beat the Everett Elks. Like, all you need is a goaltender standing on their head for 1 game, and you're going to be able to win. The perfect example of this is any previous video that featured the Everett Elks. There are certain videos where all we need is 1 forward line, 1 defensive pairing, and an above average goaltender, an 87-88 overall, and not only will we be able to lose some games in overtime, but the odd game will be able to somehow win in a shootout. So if a team that consists of 0 overalls except for 1 forward line, 1 defensive pairing, and a good goaltender, of course a team like the Everett Elks right now that are trying to go 8-2-0 are going to be able to lose to some of these teams when some of these teams still have 70 and 80 overall players on the team. But if we remove their goaltender, we remove the heart and soul of the team. So the moral of the story, we're about to look at a 75-win season. So we have 2 90 overall goaltenders on this team. One of them is Andre Vasilevsky, the other is Thatcher Demko. The next best goaltender in the league right now, I think it might be Logan Thompson at like an 85 overall. Aiden Hill was just removed, Connor Hellebuyck's been removed, Jordan Binnington's been removed, Frederick Anderson has been removed. There is no elite goaltenders left other than the 2 on our team. I mean, I guess Allmark's still in the league. It's either Allmark or Swayman. One of those 2 goaltenders is still around. But outside of Vasilevsky, Demko, and Swayman, no elite goaltenders left. So with no elite goaltenders left, our offense should be averaging about 10 goals per game, and that means we're about to go 82-0. We lost the first game of the season to the Vegas Golden Knights and Logan Thompson. So even after removing every starting goaltender in the league, first with a 72-7-3 record, we are 10 games away from going 82-0. However, in order to do that, I'm pretty sure we have to get rid of all the other goaltenders in the league. We got to be running the 3rd string for every single team. I think that's the only way we do it. Like, Boston's still really good. Obviously, the Vegas Golden Knights are still pretty good. They were able to beat us, but there's still a ton of good goaltenders left in the league, and you know what? We got to get rid of them. But I think what annoys me the most here is the fact that we didn't have a 100-point scorer. Bro, we removed most of the goaltenders, and for some reason we don't have a 100-point scorer here. Artemi Panarin picked up 123 points or something one season, and now that we've removed goaltenders, our best scorer is going to be Connor McDavid with 95 points. How does that make any sense here? Vasilevsky and Demko, both of you guys were absolutely incredible this season. We were able to win a Stanley Cup, but I'm not going to lie, the Dallas Stars almost beat us. We were up 3-0 in that series, and then they started coming back, winning back-to-back games. Luckily, we were able to beat them in 6 games. I mean, the Minnesota Wild also put up a good fight. They took us to 6 games. But yeah, the Everett Elks, they're going to be going 82-0 once we remove the rest of the goaltenders. So after removing all starting goaltenders and backup goaltenders, there's no team that can compete with the Everett Elks. We're a 99 overall. Look at every other team in the league. I think the highest overall might be like the Carolina Hurricanes at an 82. The Buffalo Sabres are also at an 82. The Toronto Maple Leafs surprisingly at an 84. Not really too sure how that works, but you know what? I'll give it to them. No team right now can compete with the Everett Elks. We're definitely about 9 steps above the rest. So right now we're a 99 overall team that's going to score 900 goals this season. There's no weakness on this team whatsoever. An amazing forward core, an amazing defensive core. When it comes to the goaltending, that's about 9 million steps above the rest. The average goaltender right now is a 71 overall. We have a 93 and we have a 91. Is not having goaltenders in the NHL other than ours going to be the difference here? Well, we're about to find out. The Everett Elks, a potential 82-0 season, it all comes down to this. It literally happened again. In the first game of the season, we lost to the Vegas Golden Knights. We lost 5-3 to Vegas. They don't have goaltenders. And then we proceed to lose to the Boston Bruins in overtime a week later. We are 3-1-1 to begin the season. We're not even the best team in the entire league. So at this point, I don't even know what it's going to take in order for us to win a Stanley Cup. First in the entire league, a 74-7-1 record. We lost 8 games this season. We scored 400 goals, 5.17 per game. The defense 2.17. It's still not good enough here. What else does the Everett Elks need? Well, it's not that we need anything. We just need to make every other team in the league worse. Like, look at the scoring here. 4 players over 100 points, another 3 over a point a game, and this team right here can't be perfect. What's going on? Okay, this is why right here. Thatcher Demko, you let us down. An 884. If you don't play like absolute crap, I mean, you had an 884 and a 16-2 record. So what am I really talking about? An 884 is obviously absolutely abysmal, but the fact that you were 16-2, I take back the disrespect I was sending to you. You weren't that bad. But still, how do you have a 16-2 record with an 884? How does that even work? Meanwhile, the LA Kings, they were able to take 3 games away from us in the second round. Carolina took 1, so we're going 16-4 in the playoffs. That's certainly not 16-0. So once again, we were unable to go 82-0. We were unable to go perfect in the postseason. Let's spin that wheel and figure out what position we're going to be removing next. Also, shout out to Connor McDavid, 24 goals in 20 games. He was pretty good. So at this point, it doesn't really matter what team we land on. All we're worried about is what position are we going to be removing. We're off to the Tampa Bay Lightning. I believe we're going to be removing a forward, because I feel like either Steven Stamkos or Braden Point is still left on this team. Honestly, we've removed so many players, I couldn't tell you who we've taken away. Now, both Steven Stamkos and Braden Point would actually be good for us, because I think that would be an upgrade to our 4th line, but it's actually not going to be either of those players. Mikhail Sergachev, you're going to be the guy removed here. You're an 88 overall. Could you join our defensive core? You might be able to, so I'm going to add you to our team here. I don't think you will be, because I think an 88 overall is technically the lowest overall we have. I mean, at the end of the day, an 88's an 88. Vince Dunn's an 88. Sergachev's an 88. It doesn't really matter when it comes to the simulation. So I've gone ahead and removed the best defenseman remaining on all of these teams, and I just want to take a quick look at them. The best player on the Arizona Coyotes is 83 overall Logan Cooley. When it comes to the Boston Bruins, Carlo at an 85. Like, these teams are incredibly weak now, and you're telling me our team can't go 82-0. By rights, we should be destroying every single one of these teams. Like with the Chicago Blackhawks, Nick Foligno is now your best player. You're telling me we can't beat this team? So there's only a handful of teams that are still in 80 overall. One of them is going to be the Dallas Stars. We have the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's it. Oh, I guess the Philadelphia Flyers are also in 80 overall. But outside of those few teams, it's all 70 overalls. The Everett Elks are 99 overall. Perfect in every aspect of the game. Is this the 82-0 season? Probably not. We're probably going to lose in game number 1 to the Vegas Golden Knights again. So it looks like Mikhail Sergachev is going to jump into the lineup here. So it's going to be Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar, Alex Pietrangelo, Victor Hedman, Sergachev, and Vince Dunn on that third pairing. Every single team in the league sucks. We should win every game. But you know what? The Vegas Golden Knights are probably going to beat us. The Boston Bruins are probably going to beat us. And at some point, we're probably going to lose to the Edmonton Oilers, and they have nobody left. Like, I've taken Nuge off that team. I've taken McDavid. I've taken Draisaitl. I've taken Evander Kane. I've taken Hyman off. I have taken their best defenseman. I have taken their 2 goaltenders. Who is left? Corey Perry, Matthias Janmark? I could see us losing to that team. So we couldn't even get through 10 games without eventually losing one. The Carolina Hurricanes are going to beat us. They're taking us down 4-2. Every other game, we've been scoring like 6 goals. But for some reason, in this game right here, we could only score 2. If this ends up being our only loss, I'm going to lose my mind. So I've come to the conclusion 82-0 just might be impossible. A 73-6-3 record, we're worse than we were last season. Every team in the league got worse. Our defense was worse this season. How did I make the rest of the league worse, but yet our defense was worse? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, Artemi Panarin, he was incredible, 134 points here. McDavid 130. Even the offense was worse here. We had 4 100-point scores last season. This season we only had 3. When it comes to the point of game scores, I'm pretty sure that's the exact same, but no, that's wild. When it comes to the goaltending, I mean, Thatcher Demko, you were great once again, a 19-2 record. Vasilevsky, you might have taken a slight step back here, but why can this team just not go 82-0? Why are we constantly choking? We're going to make it into the postseason. We're going 16-3 to win the Stanley Cup. But yeah, 82-0 is yet to happen, but this video will not end until the Everett Elks go 82-0. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel of NHL teams. Are we removing a forward? Are we going to be removing a defenseman? It's going to be a forward, because John Tavares, somehow he's still on the Toronto Maple Leafs. So as I said, John Tavares, he's going to be the highest rated player left on the Toronto Maple Leafs. So we're going to be removing the best forward remaining on every single team. And John Tavares, yeah, you're going to be joining the Everett Elks, but you're not going to be playing for us. An 86 overall is not good enough to cut it here. So there's only 2 teams remaining that are 80 overalls. That's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's going to be the Philadelphia Flyers. Every other team is definitely taking some significant steps back here. The Everett Elks are just a few more seasons away from that elusive 82-0 year. So right now, our biggest ops are easily the Vegas Golden Knights, Boston Bruins, and Carolina Carolina Hurricanes. These seem to be the 3 teams that we lose to every single season, but that's going to change right now. Yeah, you know how I said that was going to change right now? Not only did we lose to the Boston Bruins, we also lost to the Carolina Hurricanes. We always lose this game to Boston, and it always seems to be this game to the Carolina Hurricanes. But we just started the season 6-2. Every team in the league sucks besides us. We're not even first in the division right now. I think 82-0 might be impossible. So I've come to the conclusion that it might be impossible to go 82-0. But you know what? We're not giving up here. But from here on out, I'm removing the best forward and defenseman on all the remaining teams. We got to speed this up a little bit, because if we don't, this might be an 8-hour long video. The Everett Elks, a 74-7-1 season. We're not quite there yet. On top of that though, the offense on this team was absolutely unreal. Look at everyone over a point a game, all the 100-point scorers. This team should have went 82-0 if you're asking me. Like, you're telling me this team can average 5 goals a game, but for some reason the Carolina Hurricanes and Boston Bruins are always going to find a way to beat us. And also, I'm going to double back on that rule I added earlier where we have to go 16-0 in the postseason. Yeah, that's just not a thing anymore, because I don't think it's possible for us to go 16-0. Like, I think the best postseason run we've ever had was 16-2 a couple seasons ago. We went 16-3 here. How have we gotten worse as time goes on? But that's another season wrapped up. Now it's time to remove the best forward and defenseman on all these teams. So for a bit of context on what the league's looking like, the best players for the Chicago Blackhawks are going to be Tyler Johnson, Ryan Donato. Meanwhile, for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Matthew Knies and Tyler Bertuzzi are going to be the top guys here. Both of these teams have 60 overall goaltenders. Every single team in the league right now has a 60 overall goaltender, but somehow they continue to find ways to beat the Everett Elks. But for some reason, we can't beat teams who have 60 overall goaltenders, and we can't beat teams when their best player is Tyler Johnson. Like, how does that make sense? Now, there's a couple teams that shouldn't be able to beat us no matter what now. The Ottawa Senators and the Washington Capitals are both 69 overalls. If we're losing to the Washington Capitals or the Ottawa Senators, then I've completely given up here. But you know what? I think we're getting close to an 82-0 season. Then again, I've said that for the past like 3-4 years now. Whenever it happens, it happens. So we're 10-1 to start the season. We've already lost here. But who did we lose to? The Vegas Golden Knights? The Boston Bruins, or the Carolina Hurricanes in this game on October 27th that we have lost the past 8 years in a row? If we ever win a game on October 27th, then we're going 82-0, but we are yet to win this game right here. I don't know what it is, but we can't win on this day. 4 wins. 4 wins is all we need. A 78-3-1 record. The best forward and defenseman are going to be removed from all of these teams right here. Next season might be the year we finally go 82-0 and win a Stanley Cup, going 16-0. Like this season, yeah, we didn't have a superstar goal scorer, but look at everyone over 100 points here. We had 6 players recording over 100. We had 7 players over a point a game. You already know the offense is going to be amazing. The goaltending is fantastic. Thatcher Demko, you were near perfect. A 21-1 record, a 922. Vasilevsky, you had a 925. You had 10 shutouts. You were absolutely incredible. And into the postseason, the team continued to look incredible. If Calgary didn't take those 2 games away from us in the first round, we would have went 16-0. With the amount of progression we saw from last season to this season, I think it's safe to say next year is going to be the year we do it. As long as we don't lose on October 27th. If we lose to the Carolina Hurricanes again, I'm breaking something. Like, seriously, this stupid game in October always ruins it for us. October 27th, we always lose to the Carolina Hurricanes. I believe if we can get through October, we're going 82-0. If we are perfect through October, no one will be able to stop us. So none of these overalls here matter except for one team in particular. We all know which team I'm talking about, the Carolina Hurricanes. You are a 66 overall. You are not beating us. I refuse to continue to lose to the Carolina Hurricanes. I don't know what it is about that team. I don't know what it is about October 27th, but we're not losing there again. So we're going to simulate all of October, and the only games I care about is the times we play Carolina and the October 27th game. Are we finally going to be able to do it and get past Carolina? We're going 82-0. It finally happened. We beat Carolina 8-3 here, beat them 7-1 here. This team's finally about to go 82-0. So with the season wrapping up, a 79-1-2 record. We lost 1 game to the Buffalo Sabres, lost 1 game to the Islanders, and I can't recall who the other team was. We'll go and double check though. Scoring almost 6 goals per game, only allowing 1.63. I want to say we're 1 season away, but I said that last season. I don't know what it's going to take. Connor McDavid picked up 151 points here. Draisaitl 123, Panarin 112. Kane and Pedersen are both picking up 100. Kachuk 96, Cale Makar 93. The goaltending, I was about to say Thatcher Demko was was perfect, but not quite. A 24-0-1 record, 8 shots, a 937 and a 127. This team just can't let me see happiness right now. I don't know what it is. The Everett Elks, they're losing 1 game to the Nashville Predators, 1 game to the Seattle Kraken, 16-2 in the postseason, but it's not 82-0 and it's not 16-0. So let's go ahead and remove some more players and see what this team can do next season. So here's a glimpse into what the NHL is looking like right now. Sam Carrick, Holloway, and Corey Perry are going to be the top forwards on the Edmonton Oilers. When it comes to the defense, that's led by Broberg and Troy Stetcher, and the goaltending is just going to be these two 60 overalls. It's actually a 66 and a 58 overall. Now, where have I been getting all of these players from? The ECHL. I've been sending every NHL player to the ECHL and then bringing the lowest overall ECHL players into the NHL. So right now, every single NHL team looks absolutely abysmal, but somehow teams like this still find a way to beat our 99 overall team. How that makes any sense, I have no clue, but that's just the case. Now, we saw what the Edmonton Oilers look like, and basically every single team looks like the Edmonton Oilers. So you're telling me this team couldn't go 82-0 against the Edmonton Oilers? Because basically that's what we're trying to do here. 82-0, this is the season we do it. Every single team just lost their best forward and defenseman. There's basically no good players that aren't on our team anymore. So with that being said, Everett, it's time to do the impossible. We went 81-1 this season and lost the final. I'm just kidding. No, we went like 78-4 or something. We lost to the Nashville Predators here. We got shut out to the New Jersey Devils. Yeah, we got shut out. This team really got shut out by somebody. We lost to the Anaheim Ducks, then earlier in the season, I can't remember who we lost to. Oh yeah, we lost to the Chicago Blackhawks. Not really too sure how that worked out, but you know what? Yeah, we lost to the Chicago Blackhawks. After removing every good player from that team, they still found a way to beat us. So yeah, no, we didn't go 81-1. We went like 78-4. Maybe it was 77-5. I don't really know. All I know is it's not 82-0, so let's keep on removing players. So there is zero excuses about us not going 82-0 this season. There is literally 50 overall teams in the NHL right now. The Everett Elks are a 99 overall team. No excuses. This has to be the season we do it. This might be the last attempt, I'm not going to lie. So I don't want to see the Vegas Golden Knights, Boston Bruins, Carolina Hurricanes, Nashville Predators, Chicago Blackhawks. I don't care about any of these teams right here. None of you should beat us. None of you can beat us. We are the best team of all time. We're the best team in the league. Nobody can even compete with us, and now it's time to prove that. 82-0, 16-0 in the postseason. Let's finally accomplish this task. We lost in game number 2. Ain't no way this team just lost in game number 2. You know what? This simulation right here doesn't count. We're redoing it. I am not losing in game number 2. So this team right here really lost in game number 2 of the season. You know what? That's not going to happen again here. We have to re-simulate this season. I'm sorry, but we're not losing in game number 2 here. We're trying to go 82-0 and we're losing to the Colorado Avalanche. They have nobody left. So attempt number 2 with this season, 82-0. Let's go ahead and do that. Well, it finally happened. An 82-0 season. The Everett Elks were perfect. We just lost to the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs. I don't care. As long as we win the Stanley Cup here, it's an 82-0 season. The team finally did it. The Everett Elks did the impossible here. Okay, if we go 16-1 in the postseason, I'm going to be a bit annoyed. Okay, we're going 16-2 because we're losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I don't care. You see this record right here, 82-0 for the Everett Elks. We finally did an 82-0 season, 16-2 in the postseason. I'm sorry, but ain't no way we beat every single team. Going perfect here, an 82-0 record, almost 6 goals per game, allowing less than 2, 1.62 goals allowed per game. This team right here could beat everyone in the NHL, but you're telling me the second we get to the playoffs, we're going 16-2, we're somehow going to lose 2 games? I don't even care about the numbers. We actually did it. 82-0. Vasilevsky was perfect. 63 wins, 11 shots, a 914, a 168. Meanwhile, Demko, 19 wins, 7 shots, a 929 and a 142. We did the impossible, a perfect season. Yeah, we lost 2 games in the postseason, but who cares about that? This team went 82-0. That was the goal at the beginning of this video. I said earlier it wouldn't count if we didn't go perfect in the postseason, but I'm taking that back. It's impossible to go perfect in the postseason. I don't care how good this team looks. It's not going to be possible for us to go perfect. At one point, we actually lost in the postseason a couple years ago. It's probably way longer than I thought. Like, Dallas beat us in the postseason once, but none of that matters right now. The perfect season is now complete, and I am never doing a video like this again. This took way longer than you think.